This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn. This episode is brought to you by Blue Door Financial. Blue Door Financial will help you save money and reduce taxes to live a fuller financial life. To learn more, visit Blue Door Financial online at BLUdoorfinancial.com. That's BLUdoorfinancial.com.
It's another one of those things in life that really does come down to attitude, because obviously no one wants their business to be flooded. That is a nightmare. It's messy and it's hard, and you have to stop doing what you're doing because there's water everywhere and things are ruined, and it's just so wild. It's a whirlwind. But I'm a positive person, so I knew that I'll figure something else out.
Oh yeah, whoa. Look, they can never keep me down, I'm going. And if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Natalie Lynn, owner-operator at Counterpart Kombucha and co-owner of the Canning House. What's up, podcast episode 108 of the On the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited, Bill.
Yeah, this is awesome. Brought some booch with you today.
I did.
I'm trying not to say the word because I never pronounce it right. So what's the official pronunciation?
So it is kombucha, but I've heard just about every variation possible of that word, and whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Kombucha.
Yeah. Kombuki. That's one of my favorites.
Kombuki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I bet there's probably some people that are like super confident when they say that too. They're probably like, oh, let me get some of that kombuki.
For sure.
And you can't correct them.
No, I roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time. Just like, yes, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Whatever you want it to be, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's take it back a little. You're from Bloomsburg.
I
so
am.
you're originally not like really like in the close, I say, NEPA area.
Yeah.
So what brought you here?
So my sister, Tara, my oldest sister, she had moved here after college and was working at the radio station. And she's one of my best friends, one of my biggest mentors. And I kind of followed her. I followed her here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were in Bloomsburg. When did you come here?
So I came here officially 4 years ago. I've been in NEPA officially for 4 years.
Okay.
But I was and had followed her here ever since I was like 18. I would come stay with her sometimes. So I was really familiar with this area. And I would even skip school and come to the mall sometimes
Skipping
up here,
school?
which was really fun.
Oh my
yeah.
God. So all right, so you skipped school.
I did.
And came here to like the Wyoming Valley Mall?
Yes, and it felt so exciting. Like, oh my gosh, because our mall was so small, and that mall just seemed like this big, amazing mall.
We had the big crazy mall.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's as cool as it was.
It's not.
No, that
it's
poor mall.
Not the same. I know.
Oh my God.
Poor malls everywhere.
Seriously.
I'm a mall person too. I love the whole vibe of being in a mall and getting a pretzel and like doing all of that.
It was cool to go and hang out.
That was like a thing to do.
It was. It was like a staple.
Yes.
Staple thing to do.
It was.
All right. So take me back to high school, and the theme that I've seen throughout your life is like you've always been creating things.
Yes.
So, what did you do after high school?
Yeah. So after high school, I was pretty certain in high school that I wouldn't be on a college track. I was actually pretty certain of that my whole life. I just didn't feel any pull towards anything professionally in that regard. And I always really wanted to see life and then kind of figure out what was going to happen from there. So after I did graduate from high school, I moved to California I drove out there in January of 2007. Gosh, this feels like a long time ago. And this was before GPSs were in cars. And this is I had a triptych from AAA, which was like a 15-page, printed direction document.
Oh my God, it's like MapQuest.
Yeah, it was old school.
So you like MapQuested it to.
I did.
To California. So how you were 18?
Yeah.
And you just said, I'm just going to California.
I'm going to California.
By yourself.
That's what I did. Yes. And my parents, I've thought about it a lot lately too. My parents were they always knew who I was, and who I was just never changed. I was always the same from when I was a little kid to basically right now.
So who were you?
Who was I?
What were you? Who are you?
Yeah. This is getting existential.
Yeah.
I have my own path, and I can't see it. It's not well lit, but I know when I'm on it. Like, I just kind of have this track there, and they saw that with me too. They let me do a lot of things that I look back and think, wow, okay. But they just sort of weren't ever worried. They never even asked, pushed me on college. When I said I wanted to drive to California, they were kind of like, okay, but X, Y, and Z needs to happen. So my dad brought me to AAA, and, they would help me.
So they help you get the official directions.
They helped me get the official directions. And I drove out to California, lived there for a while, and I still love it dearly to this day.
So what was the plan? Like, all right, so I'm 18 years old.
Yes,
I'm going by myself.
Yes.
What were you planning to do?
I didn't really have a plan. I had visited California a couple months prior, and through my sister Tara, who I've already mentioned here.
Shout out to Tara.
Shout out to Tara, you're the best. I had met a friend of hers when she was going to IUP. He lived in California. She made this introduction and was like, hey, my sister wants to move to California. She's going to come visit. Can you show her around? So I did that. I flew out there, and he showed me the incredible city of Los Angeles, which I just love. And I met a friend through him who happened to need a roommate. And so I decided I'd find a job. I wasn't worried about that. Worst case, I just show up at one of the, hundreds of thousands of businesses and say, hey, I'm Natalie, and I'll do anything. I'll work hard.
Yeah. So you're 18 years old. How did you have the courage to just pick up and just go to California? It's like, okay, so you had an introduction, so you kind of knew somebody, but still, you're literally going all the way across the country in 2007. When there wasn't even smartphones then, and
yes, they weren't.
How did you have the courage just to pick up and go and do it?
It's an interesting thing. I'm not scared, really. It didn't ever occur to me that I needed to be courageous. It didn't ever occur to me that it was a crazy thing to do or that it might not work out. It's what's the worst thing that happens? It doesn't work. I get lost. It's just like, I'll figure it out. I just wasn't really worried about it.
Yeah. So tell me about your time there.
Oh, it was so fun. It was also crazy because, I was very far from my family, which I'd never done before. But it was just such a complete adventure. I ended up I was an assistant for a hairstylist for a while. That was really fun. So I worked in her hair studio with her. I was a nanny full-time for an 18-month-old little boy. That was also a wild experience to have at 18. I did a lot of side jobs, different events, catering events. I was kind of all over. I did some extra work, also really fun. I loved all of it.
So were you just kind of just trying different things just to kind of learn about yourself and kind of just figure yourself out?
Yeah. And that's really been the theme of my life. It's just kind of keep trying things, keep doing things.
So what did you learn most when you were out in California?
I learned most that I'm a bit of a homebody, which I never knew about myself until I really left. I didn't realize how much I would truly miss my family and how homesick I would be. I also learned a super valuable lesson, which is that all of the things I didn't fear and all of the ways that I told myself, what's the worst that happens or could happen, I found that out. So I tried it. It's like, okay, I did do these things.
And probably nothing crazy bad happened, right?
No, nothing bad happened at all. It was just all this crazy adventure. And looking back, I'm happy, so happy that gets to be a part of my story of of things. It really just made me feel even more capable of doing whatever I wanted to do.
So how long did you spend out there?
I was out there for a year.
And then when you decided to move back, like what was that like? Like what triggered that?
So this is going to sound so small town, but it's just the truth. The Bloomsburg Fair was coming up, and I really wanted to come home for that.
You can't miss that.
No, it's the Bloomsburg Fair. It's like the most, I mean, I love it. If you're from Bloomsburg, you definitely deeply love the fair, and my family's no exception. I really wanted to come home. I had multiple bosses at the time. And basically the one job I had as the assistant, she said, you can't go. We need you. And I said, I've been working here for a long time. And I just even 3 days, I don't care. I'll fly in the middle of the night. I'll spend one day there. I'll fly the next day. And she said, no bueno, no bueno. And that really just something happened where I started to feel really more locked into where I was in California. And at the same time, I had seen a picture of my little sister. And she looked like she grew 6 inches and was now this adult person. And it was this combination of things. And I was like, that's it. I am going home. I'm going home. I'll be back to California, but I'm going home.
So this was going to be just like a temporary coming home for the fair only and then
Yes.
going back to California.
Yes.
But then like boss was like, yo, you can't go to the fair.
Yeah, no fair for you. It's just a fair,
So Natalie said, no job.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So you literally picked back up and moved. You moved back home at that point.
Yep. I talked to my roommates. I was there for a couple weeks. I planned it out. And it was also, I missed my family so much. And then, not being able to leave when I wanted to just visit them because everyone has such separate lives and everything with my family. There's all these babies and it's harder for people to come to California than one might think. So it was just a combination of things. And I always knew I'd go back to California and I'd go frequently.
Yeah, right,
and I love it for the visiting. I'll visit California forever.
Yeah.
I'll be 100 and I'll be off the plane like, yes, I'm here.
Flying this time, not driving.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Flying this time. For sure.
All right. So you drove back.
I did.
And then, all right, so you came back and what was the plan?
I had no plan. I really had no plan. It was kind of back to the same drawing board that I was really comfortable being at, which was, okay, here we go. Again, let's try more things and do more things and live more life. And I certainly did do that. I spent a good couple of years working a lot of different jobs and also not working. So I also was traveling a lot and I was making music with friends and traveling with them and writing songs and journaling and painting and just doing so many things.
Where'd you travel?
I was traveling. I actually did end up traveling. I did drive back to California.
Oh, okay.
But not to live, just to visit with friends.
Okay.
We had a road trip. California many times. Spent a lot of times in Philly. Went to Nashville, Florida.
So a
West
lot
Virginia.
music scene in the music scene?
Yeah. Electric dance music.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So I was
right.
dancing a lot in those days too.
So it's like a rave party.
So fun. Yes.
Like outside?
Sometimes
Okay.
warehouses, the people that I was making music with, my friends, they did a little tour. So I went on tour with them. That was so much fun.
Like a legit tour?
A legit tour, like a real tour.
And what were you doing?
Well, I was dancing. Just to
Okay.
be honest, I wasn't doing much of anything besides dancing, but I did record a song with them that they would play. So that was epic. Like one of the stops was in California. So we all drove to California and the song was playing and we're in this warehouse and it was me singing it and it was just felt dreamy. Like, oh my gosh.
It's like you legit sang on this song with this. Who are they?
The name's Designer Drugs. They were together for years and years and years. Now they've moved on, grown, and kind of gone into different professions. But they made some awesome music. Shout out, guys.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It was fun.
All right, so you did a little bit in the music scene.
Yes.
You lived the rock star life,
Little
right? And drove back and forth a couple times.
Yes.
And then what did you kind of do after that?
So I started to settle a little bit, focus on just a couple hobbies at a time. And I was waitressing and got more into the flow of working and saving rather than working to travel or to take on a new hobby. And at that point, it was always just kind of back to this place that felt safe. Like I couldn't explain it to anyone. And honestly, no one ever really questioned me Like, what are you going to do with your life? Everyone
Yeah,
was
when are you going to grow up kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like no one ever like...
Everyone was just so encouraging. I feel like I might be one of the luckiest people like ever for that. You know, my dad, I remember talking to him and he would say just the most encouraging things. If I would ever be like, I just don't know. Like, what should I do? Oh, you'll know. You'll figure it out. You'll get there. Like, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like that can be a really big judgmental thing.
Yeah.
You know, somebody, you know, in your case, like you said, you didn't go to college. And I think our generation, like you had to go to college.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nothing against it. Like,
For sure.
But
For
you
sure.
didn't. And you experienced a lot of stuff
Yeah.
in a short amount of time. And like I said,
Yes.
like there was probably like you said, that you're very lucky because I feel like a lot of people probably were judgmental. You know what I mean? But like you didn't have that.
Yeah, my guidance counselor was.
Yeah?
She's like, I'm going to set you a meeting with the Army people and the Navy people and the Air Force, and you can sit with all of them and they'll help you.
They were trying to help you find your path.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not
Like,
worried about that.
I'm good.
I'm kind of like on it, I think. You know, I want the journey. I'm not looking for the finish line, really.
Yeah. All right. So then what did you kind of sort of figured yourself out, right? And like, what was it?
It ended up being kombucha. That ended up being the thing. And it makes sense looking back. If I could have a time machine and there's this straight line that just runs through everything, which is when I was younger, the things that I liked to do. It's just, let's mix these things together and see what happens. It didn't have to be real food. It could be anything, just a toothpaste and shampoo, just to kind of see and experiment and play. So it makes sense that I ended up with kombucha, but it certainly wasn't planned. You know, I never thought, oh, I want to start a kombucha business.
Right.
Even like a year in, I didn't think I was doing that. I was like, oh, I'm just doing this. This is just what I'm doing right now.
So like, when did you experience it for the first time? Like when and where did you try it?
So I had my first kombucha when I lived in California. And I do wish I could remember who told me about kombucha because they changed my life.
Yeah,
and
yeah, for real.
Really, truly, I just don't know who it was. But someone had said to me, oh, you should try kombucha. It's really good. It helps with headaches. And I had tried one, went to the store, picked one up. I was like, okay, this is good. Like, I get it. This is nice. But then the same thing that just kicks me into every other hobby I've ever done. It's like, oh, I think I could do that. I think I can make that really good. Like, it's good. Maybe I can make it really good. And many years went on that I did not make it. It would be over 5 years. And then I did.
Like what was that? What was that turning point for you that you said, you know what, I'm gonna, like, you weren't making it at all?
No.
Not even experimenting, nothing.
No.
And then all of a sudden you just started making it.
Yeah.
Why?
It's so strange. It was another thing that wasn't planned. I didn't think, ooh, I'm going to start doing this now. And then I did it. I had been talking with a friend on like a summer day, sitting outside, and had said, ooh, I really want to start making kombucha. I really want to get into that. And we talked about it, and that was it. On to the next conversation. A year goes by. I haven't made it. I thought about it. And it was a very cold December night. I had just gotten done waitressing. And if you have ever worked in a restaurant in December, it's crazy. You're tired. There's so many people and holiday parties. And I had gotten a phone call and he said, I have the best surprise and you have to come over to my house and get it. I honestly couldn't even imagine what that could be. Like, what is there that warrants this number one phone call? I went over and he had a kombucha and a Scoby in a little jar, little mason jar. And he said, I was at my mom's house. She asked if I knew anyone who wanted to make kombucha. And I remember when you had told me that you wanted to make it. So I got this for you.
All right. So the $1 million question, and we have one sitting here
Yes.
on the table.
Yes.
Well, this is a two-parter.
Yeah.
What is a Scoby? And then obviously, what is kombucha?
Yeah. So a Scoby is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, which is essentially all of the things that you don't see in the actual kombucha or generally in life. You don't really see probiotics or microorganisms. It'd be cool, but we don't see those. And all of those things together in a great environment end up becoming something you can see. And they become this sort of mass of squishy, amazing magicalness. There's no other way to even explain what it is because it's just this wild thing that exists. Yeah.
Just a thing.
It is. And it makes the kombucha. You can't have kombucha without the Scoby. The Scoby does all of the work. It basically goes into what is a sweet tea. And that sweet tea with its sugar and caffeine, the Scoby will metabolize all of that and turn sugar and caffeine ultimately, after about 2 weeks, into probiotics. And it changes the whole thing.
That whole jug.
Yes.
So what's going on in this jug right now?
Yeah, so that jug right now is what I would say is Kombucha Starter, which is kombucha that has aggressively gone to the point of almost vinegar. So it's kind of a holding tank. That's what's happening. It would be happy in there forever. Maybe give it a little sugar now and then.
So you have to like feed it.
You do.
It's like a living thing.
Yes, I am a steward of the Scobies, essentially, and watching them, feeding them.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Scoby mom.
Yeah. It's no pressure, but I am like responsible for the life of these things.
You gotta keep that thing alive.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
All right. So you go to your friend's house. You get the Scoby.
Yeah.
What happens next?
It sounds so cheesy to say it, but I really remember holding it in my hand. And I think it had been because it had been such a long journey to getting there. It was, I heard about it. Now I'm drinking it. Now I want to make it. Now all of a sudden I have the pieces and the parts to do it. But I was totally mystified. I drove directly to the store. I bought tea, I bought sugar, I bought a container, and I made it that night.
That was it. You're just like, I'm doing it.
Yes. And when you make it, there's multiple parts. And I had set my alarm for 3:30 in the morning because by that point I thought the hot tea would have been cool enough to actually start making it. And it was. So I set my alarm. I went through the steps and then I waited patiently for 2 weeks.
This was the first batch.
That was the first batch.
How did it turn out?
It was awesome.
Was it?
It was so exciting.
As good as you expected?
It was as good as I expected.
At least for the first one.
Yes,
First
like
batch.
for the first one. But I knew there was places to go. Like I knew for sure that this was a whole thing.
Work in progress.
Work in progress, yes.
This is like legit chemistry stuff here.
It is.
Right?
It is. Oh, it's incredible science and it's incredible nature. There's something that's so kind of magical about it. Also because there's such a long history of kombucha having been a part of so many medicinal or used in so many medicinal ways. And it still is. Like I have a friend who lives in Seoul, Korea, and they still sell kombucha there like as a health thing. It's not like a drink. It's like you take that if you're sick.
Like an actual
Yes.
Almost
Yes.
like a prescription, but
Yeah, totally. A kombucha prescription.
Yeah.
I should do that.
There we go. Yeah. All right. So you started making this, and at this point, it's a hobby,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And how did it progress? And how did it become? Yeah, I know there's probably a big long story to this, but how did it become what it became today?
Yeah.
How did you go from hobby to like a legit business?
It's interesting because the story is really just not the traditional story, especially now that I'm in business. I'm a business person. It took me a really long time to think that about myself or even about this. But I had started it as something, it just excited me, like so many things had before. Just made me feel so happy and so good. Like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing and I'm making it and I have to take care of it. And as I was making it, I realized that I had been making a lot. So I had like way too much. And I couldn't really convince people to take it. In my family, people were just like, this smells weird and this looks weird and we don't know what kombucha is. Now at the time, in 2013, it was about a $1 million industry. So when you think of how large other industries are, that's so small. It wasn't well known.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah, it really wasn't well known. There was like one person dominating the market and that's kind of what existed. And fast forward to today, I think it's on track to be a $2.4 billion industry.
It's a big difference.
In 2022. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
I would have never known, nor would I ever thought, but here I am. I mean, it was something happened there at the right time with me. I fell into it. But I'd made too much and I couldn't drink it. And of course I loved it. So I didn't want to like put it down the drain or anything. So I hopped on Facebook and said, hey, I have been making this kombucha. Do you want any? And a lot of people were like, what is kombucha? Sure, I'll take it. Just really open-minded. So I had given out a couple jars, and then every single person had then come back to my Facebook page and said, can I get this again? Oh, by the way, my sister wants some. Could I get one for her? Like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Now I have a thing. There's this whole kind of cyclical thing, and it's amazing, and we're all in this. And it, I just went out and got more jars. I went to Walmart and I got more jars, and then I went to Staples and I bought more shipping labels and more colored Sharpies. And I started posting it more, put it up for sale, because at that point I was actually spending money on all of the things. And that is how it rolled for a year.
So people started actually buying it.
They did. I had a little system in the Facebook group, and you would order it on a Monday just by commenting that you wanted it. And then you would meet me in a parking lot.
Not a drug dealer or anything.
No, yeah, it was totally fine.
Yeah, totally legit.
Yeah, just put my trunk. Yeah. And that was for a year, rain or shine. So like if it was snowing, we're still doing this, everybody, and everyone would still come. And it just sort of spread out. And before I knew it, people wanted a case at a time. And I lived in a 3rd floor apartment, and I'm just, bringing these bottles down, and it just kept going. Like it's the weirdest thing, but the community I now call the Booch fam, which is all of these customers that I still have today who I met in a parking lot. People I didn't even know, their sister's cousin's best friend who found out and wanted the kombucha. And I got to meet people that way. Like, oh, you're Alicia? Like, hey, it's so fun to meet you. This is cool. And then I got to know them. They'd come back every week, and it was some of the best people, and they did it all. I found something I loved, and I kept doing it, and everybody else did everything else. It was unbelievable. Looking back, another really lucky thing.
So you started this thing, like literally just selling it on Facebook, like just posting on Facebook. So you basically just started your business on Facebook, and just said, "Who wants to buy this?" And now you're jumping in your van and you're delivering this to people, in parking lots, and wherever they meet you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So why do you love it so much?
It's the people are a huge part of it. I don't know that I would have kept doing it or done it any other way if it didn't happen like this. From the start, from early on, I was approached by a number of people in my life. Like, you got to do this, and you have to get a hold of this distribution company and find a co-packer, and you need to get the labels, and you need to do all of these things. And I was just like, but then what would I do? Because that's what I do. I handwrite every label, and I make it, and I pack it, and I deliver it. And that's what I want to do. And that's certainly like a specific want, because that's not for everybody. I have so much respect for people who think that way in business and just can streamline. And for me, I wanted to do all of the parts. I really wanted to do everything.
So how did you eventually grow it? Like obviously it grew tremendously since then.
Yeah.
Since, you driving the van and hands them out.
Yeah. Yeah. I got in touch with a local health food store, and I had brought them in some bottles that I had done with the 2 other places that I was trying to sell to. And I basically just said, how do people sell things here? Like, how does this work? I want to come back to you when I'm ready. I'm clearly not right now. I'm doing this in my house, and, this doesn't seem like the most legit thing going on, but how do people do this? And there was an incredible manager at the time there named Victoria. And she told me, she's like, you're going to need this insurance, and you're going to have to go through the state for this and XYZ. And I made a little list, and I checked all the boxes, and I came back. I have all of it now. So can I sell it here?
And this is your first wholesale deal?
Yes. And they said, yes, you can. And that was the beginning. And then every other business I would walk into, it wasn't about how do I sell it with you. It was about, would you please sell this? I have people who want it. And I'm, meeting people in now multiple parking lots and doing all of these things. The customers are there. But if you would sell it, that would be awesome. Then I can make more of it. And you can do that part. And it helps you and it helps me. And that was how it all started.
So where was that store?
That store was in Bloomsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Bloom Naturally in Bloomsburg. I still work with them to this day. And yeah, they were my start.
The OGs.
The OGs. I love them over there.
Yeah.
I deliver and I come in with my things. I'm like, God, it's been so many times I've walked in the door just, about to fall over with all these cases. And
yeah.
still, all these years later.
And you're in like multiple states.
Multiple states.
How did that happen?
Yeah. That happened, I just wanted to. And it was another thing where people did give me their opinion on that. And they had said, you probably don't want to actually be doing that and like driving that far.
So you were going to have to drive it like to another state yourself.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I've driven this area. I've driven New Jersey, Maryland so much, almost every single week for the past 8.5 years. I'm off in the morning
every
and I'm
week.
Driving every week. Right now we're on every other because we're in a temporary space. But I just got curious about those places and thinking, I wonder if there are other small businesses that are like these amazing small businesses that I can work with.
So
I found them.
How'd you find them?
I just kind of drove around. I'd be like, oh, there's a coffee shop. And then I'd have my kombucha in the car and walk in and say, hey, I'm Natalie. I make this and I sell this. And I'd love for you to sell it.
So you literally just walked into businesses and just handed them the product and said, how can I sell this here?
Yeah, it's pretty much still what I do. Yeah. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. That's really cool though.
It's just the way that I know to do it, and it's kind of the way that I like to do it.
And you built like I'll say like customer base, fan base, following all through social media.
All through social media. I wish that I would have been the one who thought of social media generally, because it's just the most unbelievable tool for a business. I mean, you can not only find the right people, they can find you, and then you stay in touch. It's like a dream. I remember being like 10 years old, and I had met people through a local theater production that I was a part of. And I didn't have a cell phone. I was 10 and life was so different then. And I remember it was our last show, and I was thinking, wait, how am I going to stay in touch with these people? Because they're all grown-ups. I'm a kid. These people were from all over. I'm like, what if they move? I guess I could get their address, but then I'm going to send a card. And then, I just didn't want to lose these people that I had made these connections with. And so I do truly wish I would have thought of Facebook or something like that, because it really answered, which, by the way, I have found those very people from when I was 10 years old on Facebook.
There you
I am
go.
Facebook friends with them now. But it's the way of connecting with people and a way of being able to speak directly is just so amazing. I've connected and found so many amazing people, and they have found me, and it's just a place. As soon as I'm there, and I know it's not all good, and there's downsides to social media for sure, but for me, it's such a happy place. Like, this is where my people are. Like, I found my people, and they have found me, and like, here we are together in this thing, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
So do I. I think a lot of people just have a bad attitude sometimes about social media. And of course, and I've said this has came up I think multiple times in like other episodes too. Of course, you can go on Facebook and you can leave negative comments, or there's always going to be those people. Like, no matter where you go.
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to be social media. Like, you can go to the store, you can hear people bitching in line. But just anything. Like,
it's everywhere.
It is. It still is everywhere. But I'm big into social media too, and that's kind of how this whole podcast grew. I mean, it literally grew from a hashtag, which is obviously the name of the show.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for social media and hashtags, like this wouldn't exist right now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And it's just like, I believe in just being positive and just building that community online. I think a lot of people don't understand that, and even some small businesses.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
They don't understand. They don't like fully take advantage of the power of social media.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
It is. Yeah. And I think what you had just said is a really big part of it, which is it's your attitude. You know, if you kind of go on there and you're looking for this or that, but when you create your own space on there and you look at it as being this amazing thing, which it really is, like to connect with people in real time all over the world is an unbelievable thing to do. Like we are living in a time of the future being a lot of things, but it's just so amazing.
It is.
I love it.
It's a total game changer.
It is.
It's like you literally started your business like probably, well, like on your phone? Like
yes, on my iPhone. And it was just, yeah. And the fact that you can communicate with photos and videos and now, you know, podcasts with video podcasts, it's so cool. I would have never done, it just wouldn't have ever happened if it weren't for basically Facebook.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right. So you eventually moved out of the third floor apartment. Yes. Where did you go like after that, like production wise? Like tell me a little bit about your production.
Yeah. So from there, what I did is I moved into a different apartment.
Okay.
That was not 3 floors.
Smart.
That was really hard. Right. I mean, it's already such a physically intense thing
I mean,
to do.
Look at this. Look at the jug.
And they're heavy when they're full.
It's heavy with just a few inches of liquid in there.
Yeah. And I carry about probably 50 of those a week and dump 50 of them. It's so much physically that doing the stairs, that was just so crazy.
All right. So third floor.
Yeah.
Now we're in a
first floor. I am ground level.
Streamline.
Yes. That was
we're streamlining now. Streamlining now.
Yeah. I feel like you really understand me because it's exactly in my head. I'm like, yeah, look at me. Yeah. Look at me go. I have made this. Whereas, you know, obviously the other people who are like, you need to do this and this. Like in my zone, in my world that I very much live in, that was a huge
I'm going to the first floor.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And I'm still living with it. But at that time I had my kitchen certified by the state. So I could legally do it that way.
Like legitimately in an apartment like you. Yes. That's a thing.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can do it. I honestly don't think you can do it with kombucha anymore. At the time, the state didn't know enough about it. Now they do, and it's regulated, really regulated.
So you got in at the right time, ground level.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I was in there early.
That's good. Yeah.
It quickly just took over, and I wasn't really living there because it was just all racks and shelves and bottles, and it was so intense. So then I had moved to what was closer to being a real facility in Elysburg. It used to be an old gym. I used a large section in the back. I was there for a couple years. Then I moved it to Drums, Pennsylvania, where I was for 3 years until a very large flood happened.
Oh, no.
Hot water heater was exploded for days. So I walked in on Monday and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to work. And I've got my apron on and there was like 4 inches of water everywhere.
Oh my God.
And the floor had fallen through and that's why I'm in a temporary space.
Bad news.
Yeah, but my dream facility, dream home, true brewery is going to be happening soon. It's in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got flooded.
Yeah.
And that's like a nightmare.
Totally.
But now you just said you found the dream spot.
I did. It's another one of those things in life that really does come down to attitude, because obviously no one wants their business to be flooded. That is a nightmare. It's messy and it's hard and you have to stop doing what you're doing because there's water everywhere and things are ruined and it's just so wild. It's a whirlwind. But I'm a positive person. So I knew that, I'll figure something else out. I'll find a new place. One way or another, this will be for the best. And I just keep moving forward.
How do you stay motivated through things like that?
I think it comes down to being a part of who I've always been, which I do majorly attribute to my family. I come from a long line of dreamers and believers and people who've worked really hard to get wherever they've gotten. I have parents who are just very dimensional people. My dad is retired now, but an attorney by day and then a drummer in a band and, painting at night. And kind of this mix of people. But I'm positive by nature, by nurture. And my paternal grandparents had come over here during Nazi Germany, lost family members, friends, belongings, pets, so much of their life was disrupted at this young age. And by the time I knew them, there are these people that live in this nice house and they're making us breakfast and they're living this life that was, I can't even imagine how hard to create. Like, how do you stay positive through that? Like, how do you get displaced as a refugee, come to a new country, and you still get up every day and you have a family and it really was, I always was aware of how amazing that was. And then also how amazing it was that I didn't have that. I was just born, and luckily into a family of lovely people, into a life that I wouldn't have to go through that. So at the end of the day, like, no matter how bad anything is, it's just not that bad. If my heart's still beating and I'm still around, like, there is a new day coming.
So your grandparents
Yes,
came here from Nazi Germany.
they did.
Wow.
They did. I know. It's influenced all of my family, all of my sisters, and for a lot of other people, which there are so many whose grandparents had come over here or parents. And it's just so influential because you really have a perspective that's very big picture. Like, the worst day I'll ever have in my life couldn't ever compare to the worst day they had. I have such opportunity. I have this whole life I get to have. Like, I just get to have my life and I get to live it and do things and experience life. And I've always just felt super lucky for that. Like, just to be a person, just to be a human being is pretty amazing. Like, the sky, water, animals, insects, like, it's just this total wonderland. And the worst thing that could ever happen to me, just, it can't be as bad. Can't be that bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like you said, they were just completely uprooted.
Yeah.
And came to America.
Yeah. And young. Like, my mom at the time, I think she was 10 years old, and she was just moved. Just one day,
10.
abruptly moved, 10, to live with this family who she didn't speak the same language as them. And she helped them. She cleaned. And they housed her. And it's so mind-boggling to think of that being the reality, and something that I was 10. I was 10, and I was outside, running around, making mud pies and doing all of these things. And it is a huge, huge perspective shift.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm like speechless.
Yeah. It's changed. I don't think I would certainly not be who I am if it weren't for that. I think that's been the driving force for me, is I just feel so lucky as a person to be alive, that my grandparents were able to come here and to meet, and then have my dad, and then he had me. And it's just sort of this really big picture awareness that's never not there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So back to the flood. You got flooded.
Yes.
And this is kind of how we got off on that little story there. But I think it's so important because it really puts the whole thing, your whole business, your life, your story, everything in such perspective.
Yeah.
So the flood of your business is probably one of the worst things that probably happened to you.
Yeah. Oh, it was hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't in there like, oh, this is going to be fine.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just sweep the water out of the way. It's kind of a problem.
The floors needed to be cleaned. It's okay.
Yeah. Haven't mopped in a while, So, all right. So you're working on this dream location.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. I'm so excited. It's been 8.5 years of which I like this way. It's my natural way. If I don't want to do something, I'm like a dog that doesn't want to go on a walk. I'm dragging. So it's, I have the momentum. If I'm moving in the right direction, I know it. And it's taken a long time to get to the point that I'm going to be at, where I can hose down the walls and just have pallets on pallets on pallets, stacks
on
stacks.
Yeah, stacks of booch.
Yes, and I'm really excited. I was never really ready before either. I really was hesitant about moving forward, pretty much every step along the way. Even when I went from handwriting the labels, it took me until my fingers just wouldn't go
Like until you got these?
Yeah.
Like until so you used to like handwrite all this?
Yeah, I used to buy shipping labels. I can't remember the exact dimensions, but like regular Avery shipping labels. And then I had different colored Sharpies. So I'd write like Natalie's in purple, and then the flavor, and then kombucha. And it got hard. I was spending hours and hours just writing out these things.
Yeah.
And that was even hard. When I switched to getting a printed label, I was just like, oh gosh. But I love doing that part. And I kind of like I don't know. I like the hard way. I guess I just do.
Yeah. It has more meaning. Like after it's done, like you really felt like you created it.
Yeah. I remember making the Facebook post actually announcing that I would no longer be handwriting the label.
And you were like sad but happy.
Yes.
Right?
And looking back, like I don't know that anyone else felt the way that I did. But I really went in there in multiple paragraphs about how much I've loved writing the labels, and it means a lot to me to do it, and it feels so personal. And it is really funny looking back at that and so many other things that it all had to happen when I either physically couldn't do it anymore, or I was ready.
It was
I'm ready
growing
now.
pains.
Yes. And I'm ready. I'm ready for a new space. I'm ready for garage doors. I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when you get in there and you have like pallets of this, I expect a photo of you sitting on them stack style.
Yes.
You
I
know?
will 100% do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
In fact, that'll be the first thing I do.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. So also all along while you're doing this, we also have the canning house.
Yeah.
Which we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah.
So how did the canning house all come about all while you're doing the booch?
Yeah. So so many amazing things have come into my life through the kombucha. It has just been, I've met such amazing people. Obviously, it's become my profession, my career. I'm now a professional kombucha brewer, which is so funny to me still. And one of the things that had happened, and it has happened over time, where people reach out to me for the kombucha, for their business or their restaurant. And I was on Instagram one day, and someone from the Powerhouse Eatery had sent me a message and said, hey, we're looking for a non-alcoholic beverage to put on our menu, and we know you're local, and we'd love to carry it. I'm like, wow, I didn't even have to go in and with my bottles.
They DM you and were like, we want your product.
Yes, it was so cool. And so I went in and I brought my bottles, and the person that I had been talking to was Connor, who would then turn into my business partner and my life partner.
Yeah, shout out to Connor.
Shout out to Connor. Connor, just the best. And we made the sale. You know, it was done. They were carrying the kombucha, and as soon as we met, it was just like, whoa. We found this person. I mean, we're so alike and we're so different, and it's this great kind of yin and yang. And it didn't take us long to kind of hop on the opportunity of taking the canning house. The space in the building was available, and we'd been together for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And we got this opportunity, and it would be the first time. I would never go into business with anyone but him. That's for sure. I'm used to being my own.
Doing it all,
everything.
Writing the labels.
Yes. I'm used to that. And we have a really good balance. It's really been a wild experience, but it was something that I kind of always wanted to do. I thought about it many times.
Like a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Many times I'd think, ooh, this would be so fun. Because I grew up and my family is just like the most food obsessed people like ever. I mean, it's unbelievable. My mom's entire life is food. My sisters, it's what they do. Everyone's about food. And I've always loved it. And it's always this thing that is just one of my favorite things. I love to eat. I love to create things to eat. I love everything about food. So it seemed like a natural thing. And it was also just kind of always in the back of my head that I would love to do that.
So you guys got this opportunity.
Yeah.
And when it came up, I think you guys put it all together really fast.
Really fast.
Right?
Really, really fast.
Well, What was that experience like?
It was so crazy. I was so crazy. I honestly cannot believe that we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of heard a little bit about it from Connor's episode.
Yeah.
But I want to hear from your perspective.
Yeah.
and your end. So like, what was it like?
Yeah. Well, he was born and raised into a family with restaurants. So he really had a deeper understanding of what it was going to take. And I'm over on the side like, oh, this is going to be some fun. And we're going to paint the tables pink. And, I just had this very visual part that I was enthusiastic about. And we were in there. How long did we? I think we did everything in 2 months. Everything in 2 months. We did the menu, the hiring, renovated, did the layout. We did every single thing and opened those doors in 2 months. And it was just we thought that was the craziest thing that would happen. But we would see in 2020 that it wasn't. But it was so wild. I mean, it was just wild. But I like that. It's the same thing. It's like I like that whole essence of, I have to paint this whole thing. That's going to take me 14 hours. And I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it in 14 hours straight. And I'll stop for a water or a banana, but I'm going. I like the challenge, and that was a challenge.
So it's like the journey.
Yes.
For you.
Yeah. I'm about the journey. Because, we all know where it ends. We all know, like, at the end of the day and at the end of our lives, there's a start and there's a finish. It's in between, the juice. That's what I like.
The booch.
Yeah, the booch.
Yeah. All right, so you guys put this thing together in 2 months.
Yeah.
And this is like end of 2019, right?
Yeah.
Or beginning of 2020. I forget the exact date or time that you opened, but I know it was like right before the pandemic.
It was.
Right?
It was, yeah. Yeah. No one could have ever known
can't predict that
happen.
stuff.
Yeah. But that was a real mind bender. I mean, there was a divide of a lot of people who are just like, oh my God, I'm not going to work tomorrow. Like, work isn't tomorrow. Or, oh, now I'm working from home. Or, what are my kids going to do? They're not going to school. And for us, it was just this huge screen that was, how do we keep these people employed? How do we keep our employees having jobs? And then how do we keep these businesses going? How do we, as businesses that are opening doors and seating people at tables, how do we survive this? So it was the major, for all that I thought it was in those 2 months of building it, it was, without exaggerating, 1,000,000 times harder. It was just like the most intense 2 years of any possible idea that any of us had. Is it going to be, a pasta box? Are we going to do a veggie box? Are we going to start juicing things now? Are we doing peanut butter eggs? Like, anything we could make, anything we could sell, anything we could think of. It was such a wild ride.
It was just anything and everything.
Anything and everything. And it was every day. There was a point where I remember Connor and I looked at each other and we were like, how many days have we been working? Because it's been many. There's been no day off, no second off, no nothing, no time other than survive. And we did it. And we kept people employed, and by the skin of our teeth, we are here.
Still here.
We're still here.
I love it.
Because of amazing people like you, Bill.
Yeah.
Truly.
Well, only because I bought the NFT,
I mean, that is pretty amazing. It is pretty cool that you have that.
Yeah. I love it. It is really good.
We love that you have it. We talk about you all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. We're like, Bill has that one. It's always throwing that out there.
Yeah. All right. So you guys made it.
We did.
So like, what's new at the canning house? Anything?
Ooh, the canning house. The canning house, we're always doing something new. I think what's so exciting about the canning house, what I love so much about it, and the thing that I always wanted if I was ever going to do a restaurant, is we have a team of people. It's so diverse. It's amazing. Honestly, our team is awesome. It's people who constantly want to do something new, or try to use something they've never tried, or make something that's never existed. And it's just this exciting kind of thing that goes on in there. Our head chef there is 22. Diana, she's so amazing. She is just so hungry for learning and making and experimenting. And she's just also a true delight. It's just everywhere you look in there are people who genuinely really like it. And we have our spring menu coming out. So that's fun.
That is.
Yeah.
You have people that really care and want to be there.
Yeah. And we're a young restaurant. You know, now that I've been so submerged in the restaurants, which I am at this point, I've gotten to understand a lot of the other parts of business that I obviously, with the kombucha, it was never so much on my radar until it had to be. But when you open a restaurant, it's all about the P&L and the bottom line and the payroll and all of these things. I'm like, okay, I have a lot to learn. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, so those are things like you didn't know much about?
No.
How did you learn?
I learned by being really thrown into these things. I mean, hey, there's a meeting and you're going to run it. Like, okay. I've never met with a, food provider, but I'll do that. And I've never sat down and done a payroll, but I'll do that. And just a lot of real rusty times there for me too. It's like, numbers, no, I just want to make things.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better at it, and it's helpful to have a team of such awesome people that kind of still, like, even though I'm not, mixing this with this in the back in the canning house, they're doing it, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, keep doing it. Keep mixing things together and see what they taste like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I enjoy coming there for a meal.
We always love to see
Especially the brunch.
Love brunch.
Love the brunch.
I love brunch. I just wish every day was brunch all the time, everywhere.
Yeah,
I love
seriously.
brunch. Yeah. I'm always on team. Can we have brunch like Saturday and Sunday? Because we only do it on Sunday.
Team brunch.
I'm on, team brunch.
I'm all for team brunch.
If I get that shirt, you have to wear it. And then I'll
be the first purchase. Consider it already sold.
Yes.
Right now.
Yep.
I mean, you have to make them now because
I know.
You said it here and everybody's watching and listening. So
yeah. And it was really your idea. So
no, it wasn't.
Thank you.
It was yours.
Did I say it?
I think you did.
I feel like it was the energy. So we both, it's split 50-50.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Anything else? What about the NFTs? I mean, you guys doing anything new with that?
Yeah, we have so many.
Is there more stuff coming out?
Just sitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like a secret?
No,
okay.
It's not a secret.
Well, it's not
more
now.
of just like a thanks, Bill.
Yeah. Spoiled. Spoiler alert.
It is. We have a bunch, and we're kind of figuring out like what we want to do with them, and we've been thinking a lot.
Because I'm ready to buy.
I know, right? You're like at this point, obviously, you're our favorite.
I'm watching.
You're our favorite.
I'm watching out.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna kind of merch it out and make some cool things that are unique to come along with them. We have some kombucha ones, just not quite sure yet how we're gonna do it, what we're gonna do, but eventually
working on some things behind the
Connor
scenes.
is like so, as you know, he was
love
on the
Connor.
podcast. Connor is just great, and he has this brain that just absorbs everything, and then at any moment can just push it out. He retains like everything he's ever heard, and he loves technology. So the NFTs, that's really all him. I love seeing them. I'm like, ooh, that's great. It's exciting. I love the whole element that I love about everything, which is it's exciting that someone wants it, and then it's theirs, and then we made it, and the story is what I love.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that and the T-shirt and geez, what else?
I know.
By the way, we didn't. I gotta pick this up for.
Yeah.
This is making a racket with this thing. This is an important thing here.
That is an important thing. That is my jambalaya stick.
The jambalaya stick.
Yeah. I guess I could have called it something else, but that just felt right because it is a Bayou classic.
What's that
thing?
What's that? What does that mean?
It's just the brand. But I assume, the Bayou, jambalaya.
Yeah,
I could totally have made this up. That might not at all be for jambalaya. But when I saw that and received it, I was thinking that's a jambalaya stick.
This is like the big stirrer thing.
Yeah.
This is like what you make.
Yes, that's how I stir my brew.
Yes.
Like a witch in there. Yeah. Just stirring and
the cauldron.
Yes.
The big cauldron.
Yeah, all the green coming up. Yeah.
Smoke.
Yes.
Yep. Scary stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's how I get the sugar to work its way into dissolving into the tea. And I use that thing. Boy, it's my old faithful. I've had it forever, I think, at this point. And I do a lot of stirring.
A lot,
yes.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes each one. I'm like, okay. Same. I could easily get something that would stir it.
Yeah, but why make it easy? You like the hard route.
I do.
You like doing things. So do I, though.
Yeah, it's satisfying. It's so much more satisfying.
Like you're like, it's just it's that journey of doing.
Yeah, it's the doing.
Yeah,
we're doers.
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm. We go from third floor to first floor, just make it a little bit easier.
Yes,
not like a lot easier, just a little bit easier.
Yeah, a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, what else? Anything else? Anything else new coming up? You got the new facility coming up.
Yeah,
which is super exciting.
I'm really excited about that. And
where is it? Can you say?
It's in Hanover, and it is really not too far from here, like 13 minutes. So I'm still in a good location.
That's
13.
That's an exact number.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 minutes.
Well, it must be, because if you knew it was 13,
right?
You timed it. Yeah.
Minutes. So it's super close. Also, just still conveniently located for deliveries, because on any given day, it's like, okay, I'm driving to Montclair, New Jersey, or Lancaster. It's nice to be here for that. I didn't plan that either, but NEPA is such a great place to go, like, anywhere you want. We're so close to the best cities. In an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can be in New York, you can be in Philly. Everything feels close and doable. There's an airport here. Not that I'm flying the kombucha anywhere.
Yeah. Cargo flights. Yeah. Well, the FedEx plane jumbo jet pick it up,
Yes. So I'm truly just so excited for that to happen. It's a huge step. And I know I have my work cut out for me, because I have to figure out how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, now it's like legit.
Yeah.
Like more legit than it already was.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I have to figure that out.
Yeah. Probably got some bills to pay now.
Yeah. And like in true fashion and in my true style here, I'm going to try my darndest to do it myself.
Of course.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Make sure you do it the hard way, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No. There will be no easy things here, easy ways out.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Once I have my kind of dream space to do this, I'm excited to play with more flavors, because that's something I really like. And I've been doing a lot of the same flavors for a really long time, and it makes sense. I love them, and they do well, and people like them. But I've always loved to like go out in black raspberry season and like pick a bunch and then make just a special batch. Like however many I have, I'll just make that much. I'm excited to do that again.
Like
and in that space,
special mini batch.
Yeah. So fun.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to pick so many to make a lot, but I could at least do like something. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
How do you find the time to do all of this stuff that you do? It's like, between the restaurant and the booch, like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a real lot.
It is a real lot. I didn't know how much of a lot it was going to be.
So it's like a lot.
It's like the most a lot. It's I don't know if I could do anything that would be more a lot for me
than these two things.
Yeah, it's really challenging.
Yeah, how do you do it all?
It's just so challenging. I don't. I don't do it all, which is the great thing. So we have our executive team, management. They're just so wonderful. Connor picks up like on the weeks where I have a lot of kombucha. This is one of them. I will label, bottle, brew, pack, deliver, invoice over 1,200 bottles this week. And I'm only one person. So I'm going to be there doing this a lot, which means I won't really be able to like take the meeting with the bread guy. And I probably won't go over there and check on everything on Wednesday, but like Connor will do it. So we have a good team dynamic where we'll fill in a little bit. It still will stretch me thin because it's not like I just close the door and say, well, I'm at kombucha now. I'm still on social and I'm still posting and, still involved in the constant things that need to happen. Brunch has to happen.
More brunch.
Yes. And then, of course, I'll work there, on the weekends, no matter what, even if it's a kombucha week, I'll be there on the weekends and hustle and bustle and bus tables and all those things. So booch in the morning. Yeah. Brunch in the morning. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Lunch. Yeah. I've just learned to sandwich my time. Like I used to be more of like, I'm going to wake up as soon as the sun rises and then work and work and work and work and work. And then I'm done. And then I'll go out and I'll do whatever I do whatever else there is. And now I've gotten better at turning things on and off. So some mornings I'll go to kombucha and I'll do 2 hours. I'll go to the canning house for 4, come back to kombucha for 6 or 8, and then I'll go home. Or, just kind of getting better at stopping and starting, because I'm more inclined to be
0 to 100.
Yes. Like once I've started, don't even think to distract me, because then I'm, the inertia is gone. But I'm getting better at balancing it, and I'm really thankful to have a strong team of people who know when I'm having a big week.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, I can't. I literally have to do thousands of bottles of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to not do it. Yeah. So who's going to stir?
Yeah.
Who's going to stir?
Jeez. Yeah. I appreciate the hospitality when I come to the come for brunch.
It's definitely the thing. We love it. We love seeing people. We love seeing people we know. We love, it's just, that's such a huge part of what makes it all feel cool and good and exciting. And it's just, that's the part where it's like your heart gets a little warmer.
Makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
This is why. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So social media, and how can our listeners find you, the kombucha, potato, and the canning house?
Yeah. Gosh, there is so much.
Yeah.
So for the kombucha, Counterpart Kombucha at Counterpart Kombucha on Instagram and on Facebook. And the canning house is the canning house. We also have a TikTok now, which is also the canning house. We have a Facebook as well for the canning house, and any other social media thing that pops up, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, we're doing it. Signing up.
I love it. I'm still trying to learn Snapchat, but I don't know. That's like a little, I don't know. I think I'm too old for that.
I don't know either. I think the TikTok is a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've been having fun with that. Thank you for your support, by the way.
Yeah, we
were
just connect on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, look at all these likes.
Yeah, likewise. I have like 2 likes. One is you.
Yeah.
The other one's me.
It's a slow roll at first, I hear. So,
everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts at 0.
Yes. And it's exciting when you see anything else. I don't have these grand expectations of I'm going to open it up and something went viral.
Yeah, I'm going to have a million views. And
yeah. The iced macchiato just probably won't get there, but anyone to see it
the
is
iced
exciting.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, they saw it.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great.
Thank you so much. This has been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in and lugging the carboy.
Oh, yeah. Happy to do it. It got out. Never gets out.
No.
This is a field trip. First time in 8.5 years, this thing's seen the roads.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Field trip. First field trip.
Yep. To here. On the stacks. First time ever.
I'm honored. The Scoby, the 8-year-old.
Yep.
Scoby.
And here it is. Yep.
On a field trip.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Same.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This has been, and so, but where can people buy your kombucha?
So
a lot of places.
It's scattered around in the local NEPA area. Of course, it's at the canning house. It's at Red Leaf. Love the Red Leaf guys so much. It's at both Dallas and Wilkes-Barre, Chick Marketplace, Pour Coffee House. It's at Zumo's in Scranton. It's really scattered around.
And anyone else that wants it.
You just let me know and I will be there and I will have my bottles and I'll still start with, hi, I'm Natalie. Because that's just what I do. And then also we do have a subscription that is currently not happening, again, because of the temporary space. But that's going to be back pretty soon. So we'll be delivering cases directly to homes again, which is exciting because for a lot of people that are in different areas, like the Phoenixville area, like in the Philly area, it's more of a drive for them to get to the place they get it. So we'll just bring it there.
Just ship it. Does it get shipped to their house?
We deliver it.
Oh, you deliver it?
Yeah. We still deliver it.
You're trucking it down there.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm just, listening.
Yeah.
Like to yours.
Exactly.
That's how I've listened to so many of your episodes because I'm just always in the car.
Okay. I was wondering how because you told me that you were listening to so many episodes and I'm like, geez, like how do people have the time?
Yep.
But I guess it makes sense. The traveling.
Yes, totally. I mean, 8 or 10 hours in a car, you can get a lot done. Like Audible, I've recently gotten back into that. Unbelievable. I feel so smart, like all these books I've been reading. I'm not reading them, but
listening.
I'm listening.
I prefer listening too.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
You can multitask.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Awesome. Well, again, this is great. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what else you guys are going to do with, the kombucha and canning house and the NFTs. And
thank you.
Whew.
Yeah, it's only the beginning. I mean,
Crazy.
there's so many things we want to do, and this was really fun. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. All right. Natalie Lynn on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me. If you want to see more On the Stacks content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/onthestackspodcast or search the hashtag #OnTheStacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on The Stacks.